What's up? Welcome to the Mandatory Live Post-Fight Show. If you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. You could also follow us on our social media channels. You'll see in the description below the ways that you can connect with us. And also, if you've already done that, thanks so much for rocking out with the show. We do appreciate you. And the more you hit that like and subscribe button, the more of these post-fight shows that we can do, the more lives we can do during the week. And remember, we're on the audio side as well. So wherever you find your shows, podcasts, you can find us there as well.
All right.
Brian just brought up the entire card.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, drop your comments. Let us know what you thought about the main event. We do gotta definitely get to Shaqie Foster and Stephen Cool Boy Steph Fulton, who did not look like a cool boy in the ring against Shaqie Foster tonight. And listen, before we actually had the fights go on tonight, I actually texted Brian quickly on WhatsApp, and I was like, man, I think Shaqie Foster is going to win this fight.
And I agree with you.
And Brian's like, yeah, I bet on Foster.
Yeah.
And I even tweeted this too. I'm like, I think Foster wins by decision. Cool Boy looked terrible in this fight.
That's the worst I've seen him in a while.
Since Inoue. So he looked, since Inoue. Yeah. And here's the thing, like, you come in overweight, and then all of a sudden you're fighting for an interim belt, right? At 135.
Oh, my God.
And Shaqie Foster actually, like, he looked bigger in the ring than Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton could not close the gap on him. And Shaqie Foster, just worked the jab, counter punched really well. He was moving around the ring. He was using his feints really well. Shaqie Foster looked great in that fight, Brian. And I'm excited to see him at 135. Like, I think a lot of people sleep on Shaqie Foster. He's not one of those like household names that everyone talks about, but he can fight, and his IQ. He's a technician. Like, I think some people, if you watch that fight, you could maybe think, man, this is kind of boring, because like at one point, Cool Boy was barely he didn't really land a lot of shots on Shaqie. But this was a great fight. I loved this fight tonight. I was like locked in. I was like, I'm such a nerd. I'm enjoying every minute of this fight. What are your thoughts, Brian?
6 or 7 rounds in, I'm like, I don't think I need to score this anymore.
He was dominating.
Stephen Fulton just did not look prepared. He looked like, I don't know if he didn't take this fight seriously, or I don't know what his deal was, but we were saying up here, we were like, man, Shaqie Foster is one of the more underrated champions, probably boxers, period, in the sport right now, who's been a champion for a while. And honestly, he got robbed against Conceição last year. Should have been just a WBC champion straight through at 130 for this entire run, after beating Eduardo Hernandez in Mexico, by the way, stopping him in the 12th round, which was a great stoppage. He had a little bit of a run there where he would just get the 12th round stoppages or knockdowns, like he dropped Abraham Nova. Abraham Nova more competitive against Shaqie Foster than Stephen Fulton was, which is interesting. Now that he's the interim lightweight champion, I think just the fact that this became an interim championship bout, Dan Rafael reported that PBC insisted, like, they really wanted this to still be some sort of title fight. And then I guess just worked it with WBC and was like, yo, can we do this? Because the WBC's out is this, if you want to like read behind like what may really be going on.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson is currently the lightweight champion for the WBC and is moving up to fight Teofimo Lopez for the 140-pound WBO title. So this positions whoever won this fight, now it's Shaqie Foster, as the interim champion, who could then become the champion at 135, because Shakur Stevenson is probably going to vacate once he moves up and potentially beats Teofimo Lopez, or he just stays the interim champion if Shakur Stevenson wins and it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, whatever. He may want to come back down, whatever. I doubt it. I think he wants to keep moving up. But this is what this sort of sets up to me. So for me, I was like, it would be really awkward if Stephen Fulton won this fight. Thankfully, he didn't, because that would have been weird. He didn't deserve a title shot after missing weight by 2 pounds, which is a lot in this sport, especially in the lighter weight classes, especially for somebody who was just 122, moved up to 126, moved up to 130. And how are you the guy that's showing up and not making weight? That's kind of crazy. So he didn't deserve it. And then he just kind of shitted on this opportunity by not really seemingly taking it seriously and getting his head boxed off by Shaqie Foster, who, again, somebody who carried himself as a champion, who's been a champion, who's now a champion in the second weight class, or could be a champion in the second weight class, depending on how this goes. I'm happy that Shaqie Foster took advantage of this opportunity, because it would have been very, very just weird if he did not win this fight, and Stephen Fulton did, having not deserved this opportunity to begin with, it seems.
Stephen Fulton just did not look prepared at all for this fight. It didn't look good. And I think for a guy like O'Shaquie Foster, like fighting in Texas, he had all of his fam there, all of his friends there at this fight. There was no way he was going to lose in San Antonio. And
yeah, Trey the Truth. You saw that?
Yeah, that was, and he was wearing like the assholes by nature tee. I mean, come on, man. They came out and they were hella Texas the whole time. Of course, like I just didn't think O'Shaquie was gonna lose, especially when you miss weight, like mentally, I think that does something to you. And even when they were like standing next to each other, like O'Shaquie looked swole. Like O'Shaquie looked like he prepared and trained for this fight and was locked in. Like Stephen Fulton was just like standing there, like his belly was kind of hanging out. Like he did not look like and I love Cool Boy Bryan. Like I'm always on here defending him. He's one of my favorite fighters. And I just looked at O'Shaquie. I'm like, this dude's not gonna lose. And I think another thing about O'Shaquie Foster, I think he has a chip on his shoulder because despite the fact of being successful and winning some fights, he does not get the respect he deserves. He doesn't get talked about enough. Like he's a very, very good fighter. And it's a shame that, now let's give him his credit for sure. Like if you didn't have O'Shaquie Foster on your radar, please put him on your radar now. Brian, I would love if you could bring up the 135-pound, like the weight class. Let's bring up the 135-pound division and let's see who's in there because now we can do some matchmaking.
Yeah, because O'Shaquie Foster's been 130 forever, been a mainstay there, I think he's the best champion at 130 now. I think he's cemented himself as that, especially looking at the competition. It's either him or Navarrete. Navarrete tried to win a title at 135, and obviously that didn't end up happening. But we'll see what we get here. Okay, 135. They already updated O'Shaquie Foster as the interim champion here. So, Truth actually commented this. Shaki versus Noakes make it happen, which would be very interesting. Sam Noakes as a welcome. Sam Noakes, I think a lot of people would agree, probably cemented himself as a contender. No, definitely cemented himself as a contender. I don't know if they're going to want to get him a win after losing to Abdullah Mason earlier this fall, last month, to see if he's going to get another championship opportunity at some point, or if they're just going to put him in another title fight. But having just fought for a vacant title and losing, I'm not sure that that's going to be the case. Still, there are a lot of fun opponents for O'Shaquie Foster. And if you look at the WBC specifically, because we know Shakur Stevenson is going to fight Teofimo Lopez next, he theoretically could defend his interim title against one of these top guys here, like O'Shaquie Foster versus Ricardo Nunez, O'Shaquie Foster versus William Zepeda, a little more specifically, who obviously had a fun fight with Shakur Stevenson, or at least the first part of it. Like that would be cool to watch. And you also have Yadier Herrera, who I don't know if you guys remember, but Yadier Herrera was calling out Shakur Stevenson, saying, "I'll kill you, give me a contract." That's a verbatim sentence. That's something he actually said. That was real interesting. And then if you look at other rankings and other top guys in this weight class, Floyd Schofield, who actually Brian Shepard literally just commented about, are they both from Texas? No. Yeah, they're both from Texas. Yeah, they're both from Texas. So that's something in Texas that'll make sense. We'll put Ryan Shepard's comment up because it was a good idea.
Schofield's from the Dallas area? Is he not from like Frisco or something like that? Let me find out.
But
I think he's from the Dallas area, like Fort Worth or something like that.
Like that would be smart matchmaking. And it's also I think for a lot of people, they'll see this as a pick'em fight. I think me and you might be like, yo, we like Kid Austin, but also, is he ready for O'Shaquie Foster? Like that kind of thing. But he did knock out Tevin Farmer, who I have a ton of respect for. He caught him in the first round, but I still want to learn more about how good he actually is because that fight just ended really quickly. And I don't think that's going to happen to O'Shaquie Foster. But there's a lot of fun matchups at 135 for him.
So we're really stupid because his name's Kid Austin, so Austin, Texas.
No, I'm stupid because I forgot.
Okay, I guess I just read it right now. I'm like, okay, he's born in New Jersey, but they call him Kid Austin. He's
okay. I was gonna say, ain't he from Jersey?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the thing because I'm like, I thought he was from I don't know, but listen, there's a lot of great fighters from Texas. Texas produces some really, really good boxers. I'm taking a look at this 135-pound division, and Who did you say, Brian? I'm sorry, you guys saw me like leave out for a second. I had to get my charger. I was trying to watch the Big Ten championship, which, by the way, Ohio State
Yeah.
got upset, and I love that. I love that, and I hope the Raiders maybe do draft Mendoza now.
Fernando Mendoza does not look like a Fernando Mendoza. It does not sound like a Fernando Mendoza, but I think he's probably should be the number one pick. Maybe, but we'll see. I think with Oshaki Foster, the most interesting matchup to me here is probably Schofield. But if you're looking at like the WBC rankings, because remember, he was going to fight Shakur and then he pulled out and the WBC just took him off. So maybe it's going to be Ricardo Nunez or William Cepeda or Yadier Herrera. And to me, I kind of want to see Yadier Herrera get an opportunity because he's fun and chaotic. And I think that'll be an interesting mix for Oshaki Foster, who fights a more calm, classic counterpunching boxing style, who's just like, if you love pure boxing, he's like really fun to watch.
Yeah. The only other one is, I think, is Kid Austin and Oshaki Foster. I agree with our guy, Ryan Shepard, Foster and Schofield in Texas. That's a huge fight. And I think a lot of fans in Texas would go and see it. I think it would be entertaining. I think Oshaki Foster, though, like, he's extremely skilled and he has the experience. And we've seen Flo Schofield in his last fight have a great fight. But skill-wise and experience-wise, I don't think he's on Oshaki's level. I think we're still learning about Flo Schofield. And I'm big on Flo Schofield. I think he's super talented. But Oshaki Foster, I think he can fight any of these guys.
Yeah.
I still want to see Murataya and Andy Cruz, which they're set to fight. Are they not?
That's going to be January 24th.
Okay.
I think at the Fontainebleau in Vegas, if you're interested in going to that.
Yeah. Which is funny they're having fights there because I heard it's like dead. You know, like that was supposed to be like a very big hotel, and it's just apparently it's like a ghost town in there.
That's going to be during one of the NFL playoff weeks. I don't know if that's the conference championship already or if it's still the divisional round.
It's the divisional round because remember they have the week off in between.
I forget when the Super Bowl is, if it's like the first Sunday or the second Sunday this year.
They moved it to the second Sunday, I'm pretty sure.
I think. But regardless, it's going to be during the NFL playoffs, so we'll see.
It's the divisional round because remember they take a week off and then they have the wild card.
Yeah.
And then they go into the divisional round. So I think it would be during the divisional round.
Because they also take a week off because of the Pro Bowl in between the conference championship and the Super Bowl. And I think the Pro Bowl week might be the last week of January, but I don't know.
Well, now they do the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl, remember? Yeah, because you don't watch the Pro Bowl, do you?
No.
Yeah, because nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
I saw the first year of the Pro Bowl games, and honestly, it looked kind of fun, and then I just forgot it existed.
The Pro Bowl now they do after the season. They don't do the Pro Bowl.
When is the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, they don't do the Pro Bowl mid-season anymore. They used to. They changed that a few years ago, unless they changed it back.
It looks like they changed it again. Pro Bowl games are going to be February 3rd. That's a Tuesday.
Okay, so they're doing it just before the Super Bowl?
Non-contact flag football game.
Who wants to watch that? Just forget it.
NFL playoff schedule. Hold on. We'll get back to boxing in a second, guys.
Yes. Now we're like trying to figure this out. We're trying to figure out when the Pro Bowl is.
Because it'll also coincide with some of these fights.
Yeah.
Wild card round, January 10th to the 12th, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 10th is my birthday, by the way. And the playoffs always start like around my birthday or like right after. Divisional playoffs is the 17th and 18th. The conference championship is the 25th. Okay. So Cruz and Murataya would fight the 24th. Also January 10th, by the way, the day the NFL playoffs start, Subriel Matias still slated to go down against Dalton Smith, Barclays Center. Don't know if I'm going to that yet. We'll see. And then the Super Bowl is February 8th. So it is the second Sunday, barely, because the first one's on the 1st, but it is February 8th. So I guess they're just leaving open that January 30th, 31st, February 1st weekend, which is good because that's when Shakur and Teofimo are fighting. That's when there's another card that got announced at that point of the year, but I'm blanking on it now. But it's another pretty good fight from what I remember. Regardless, Oshaki Foster could beat a lot of these guys at lightweight. That's the point.
Yeah, and he had a great performance tonight, and I'm really curious to see what happens now next. And I think he can fight any of these guys and be successful. I think if Tank was to have, I think he'd have a problem with O'Shaquie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he kind of would fight like Lamont Roach.
Yeah, like O'Shaquie Foster is good, y'all. So it's like I'm really happy. I'm really happy for him that he beat Stephen Fulton, because Stephen Fulton didn't even look like he wanted to be there. And by the way, like, I can't believe Joshua Van won tonight.
Yeah, but
I was
see
like,
how?
Yes. And so I'm just in shock right now. You know what I mean? Because he messed up my parlay. That was the one where I was like, this is for sure. There's no way Joshua Van's going to beat him. So anyone that took Joshua Van, that's good for you.